Well, after a European road trip, we are back in the United Kingdom, and we are back at the home of motorsports in the United Kingdom. We are back at Silverstone for the second time this season. We started the season here, of course, just a couple of months ago, and what 3 races we had there. Super impressive races, and we are looking forward to some exceptional racing here this weekend. Again, we've got 2 races for you, and then we have a reverse grid race as well. 3 in total, 1 coming up shortly, and then we will have 2 races on Sunday where the weather is said to be unpredictable, and these races have been unpredictable this season, with different drivers staking their claim to the GB3 title. Now, Alex Ninovic currently has the lead, and we'll hear from him very, very soon. And as you can see behind me, the sun has just come out. It's around about 21, 22 degrees here at Silverstone, so the drivers are going to be looking at that and thinking, great, we can get some heat into our tyres nice and quickly. However, in a matter of seconds, the clouds can come over. As you know, if you've ever been to a race here at Silverstone, and the temperature can drop incredibly quickly. So it's going to be a fascinating afternoon ahead. We are back in the United Kingdom after visiting Spa, Zandvoort and the Hungaroring. So let's just remind ourselves of what happened last time out when we were over in Hungary.
And it was a poor start from Keanu Al-Azari from the front of the field that dropped him immediately down behind both Jean-Marco Pradel and Will McIntyre. As Al-Azari tried to fight back, he couldn't quite get that done. Ninovic had a look around the outside. 3 wide further back down the field. We saw the 2 Argenti by Prema cars of Seaworthen and Wampu Shui go wide the exit turn 1. A quick excursion off the circuit by Hugo Schwarzer at turn number 4 on the first lap, and then another run through the gravel at turn number 12 would mean that his race was almost over earlier on in the race. He ended up actually not finishing the race due to further issues later on. We saw a great battle for 3rd place. Al-Azari trying to get back in the podium position, successfully getting past the Rodin Championship leader of Alex Ninovic down towards turn number 1 using great pace. It was Jean-Marco Pradel that was pushing on at the front of the field, managed to gap Will McIntyre enough that DRS wasn't an issue as McIntyre forced his way through the middle sector and eventually was able to hold out. But Jean-Marco Pradel was the driver that took victory in the end ahead of Will McIntyre and Keanu Al-Azari. Highlights of round 11 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC from the Hungaroring, and from pole position, Alex Ninovic got away well ahead of Keanu Al-Azari, who challenged him down towards turn number 1. In the back of shot, Noah Lyle made an attempt on the move on Jean-Marco Pradel, yesterday's winner at turn 1, and that was successful. But in the back of shot also, you can see a double lock-up from Jack Sherwood clattering into the side of Kai Darianani. Both of those races ended at lap 1. Further battling down towards turn number 2, Keanu Al-Azari having a look up the inside. Deegan Fairclough tried around the outside. That would not work for him. He dropped further down the order inside the top 10. Wide was Pat Hoytsenroderers. Now the battle between Will McIntyre and Deegan Fairclough started. That would rage on throughout the race. McIntyre actually shuffled behind Schwarzer on the first lap, would make his way back through on that lap and all the way back up onto the rear of McIntyre in the race. Keanu Al-Azari just about holding on to the coattails of Ninovic at the front of the field, but couldn't quite mount a challenge, as Ninovic took his 3rd win in the championship this season, the 4th win for Rodin Motorsport as well. Highlights of round 12 of the reverse grid race here at the Hungaroring, and it was Kai Darianani that led from pole position, although right behind him Flynn Jacks tucked in the slipstream and looked for that number 10 on the right hand side of the screen, Reza Seaworthen, looking around the outside, didn't get a move done down towards turn number 1 as Will McIntyre locked his left front down towards turn 1, lost out to Hugo Schwarzer. But it was Reza Seaworthen that managed to get through on both of the drivers ahead, 3rd to 1st into turn number 2, and then that contact between Deegan Fairclough and Will McIntyre at turn number 5 on lap 1 saw Will McIntyre drop to the back of the field. Fairclough would recover and also get past championship rival Pat Hoytsenroder down towards turn number 1. Then Keanu Al-Azari getting very much in the battle, and this is the point at which Reza Seaworthen absolutely dropped the hammer and pulled away from the rest of the field. He would extend the gap very large. That's Kai Darianani, who managed to hold out from Hugo Schwarzer, who was in 3rd place for most of that race. And then there was fighting further back. Jean-Marco Pradel lost positions to his championship rival and teammate of Alex Ninovic, who was the highest finishing of the 3 drivers. But no one could beat this man today. Reza Seaworthen took victory by over 16 seconds, the 2nd biggest winning margin in GB3 history.
Well, Well, it was a great 3 races over at the Hungaroring. Of course, they're racing this weekend at the Hungaroring on the Formula 1 calendar, which means the F2 and the F2 drivers are there as well. And a shout out to former GB3 race winner James Headley, who came fourth in the sprint race earlier on today, just missing out on a podium. But that's what these drivers here in the GB3 Championship are dreaming of going on to do, to make it to F3, to make it to F2, and to hopefully make it to F1. Now, we've got to speak with the high-tech TGR drivers. We have 2 of them in the top 10 on the grid. We've got Deegan Fairclough, who's won some serious races here at Silverstone before in his F4 career. He'll be starting 3rd with his teammate Keanu Alazari starting in 7th. And I caught up with the pair earlier on. Keanu, after a great weekend in Hungary, 2 podiums for you there, you must be looking to continue that form here at Silverstone.
Yeah, it was a fantastic weekend out in Budapest last time. Yeah, the team did a great job to get the car in the right form for qualifying, and yeah, ended up taking the first pole position for them this year, which was obviously very relieving, but also a sign of our progress that we've been having over the past few months. And yeah, I'm very happy to continue that form over to Silverstone, learning more about the car every day. It's obviously quite a sophisticated car, stepping out of F4. But yeah, very happy to take back the P3, and me and Deegan both equal on pace once again. And should be a very interesting race off of P3.
Yeah, incredibly close qualifying times between you two, which shows that you're pushing each other all the way. What did you learn the first time we were here at Silverstone that you're going to put into practice this weekend?
Obviously, last time out here, I had a front row start of pole position, but in the reverse grid. But obviously, just helps learning the dynamic of being somewhere in the front around here, how to defend, how to overtake. And yeah, I started somewhere around P13, P12 in race 1 and 2. So also coming through the field was a strength of mine, and I ended up making 6 places in race 1, if I remember. So yeah, several things learned that time out, and definitely going to put them to use this time.
So hopefully more podiums for you. What do you do with your trophies when you get back home?
Normally try and carry them through the airport, but obviously I'll be out here for the next few months over summer. I have them in my apartment in Vilnius right now, the other 2 trophies from Budapest, but yeah, carrying them is always a bit of a struggle. Extra baggage, you know?
I'm sure you don't mind paying for extra baggage when you've got on the podium though, right?
Yeah. Sometimes they let me go free, actually, because they're trophies, you know?
Have you ever had a pilot of a plane give you a shout out? Sometimes I see that happens with racing drivers.
No, not yet, not yet.
Okay, if you win round here at Silverstone, next time you fly somewhere, I'll make sure of it.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Deegan, we're back here at Silverstone, a place that you've had a lot of success before, but the first round of the GB3 Championship, I think you'll admit and agree that the results weren't quite where you wanted them, and you've got a great opportunity to put that right this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Good qualifying then. Gutted we didn't get the pole position, obviously. And yeah, no, it's nice to be on the front row and go for the fight with my old championship rival. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
Rekindling old rivalries, is there something that you know about him that might help you off the line?
I can't really say too much, but it's just getting a good launch, and hopefully we can get him into turn 1 would be nice. And yeah.
Obviously, a great position in the championship as well. You kind of at the stage of the season where you want to be making a bit more progress to being getting on top and sort of toppling where Alex is at the moment. How can you achieve that here this weekend at Silverstone?
Yeah, I mean the points for a race win is big, 35, and we're only 50 points behind him, so we can't have him itch away more. I mean, if I come second, that's a 6-point game for him in one race. So we need to get him as soon as possible. But I'm just looking forward to it. I mean, we just need to have a consistent haul of points this weekend and have a strong second half of the season.
You are definitely out to get him. I can sense this from you, but I like that fighting spirit. When we look at your favourite memory here at Silverstone, what would that have been?
The championship win and the Autosport Awards. I mean, them 2 are really big moments in my life, and yeah, I'm really pleased. A little bit gutted in my qualifying lap, slight mistakes that set us off the pole position. So we know we have the pace, and I think the team have been working ever so hard this year to get us in the right place. We've been a bit unfortunate at times, and a few mistakes on my behalf. So to now have a few tiny mistakes and be up there is nice, and hopefully we get no more mistakes for the rest of the year, and yeah, get on it.
Plenty of memories to be made here this weekend. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Great to hear from the high-tech TGR drivers, Deegan Fairclough there with his teammate Keanu Al-Azari just before. Al-Azari will start 7th in his very, very prominently pink car, which you can't miss when you're watching the race coming up. And obviously Deegan Fairclough's car is the traditional high-tech TGR colours of a very nice, I'm trying to work out whether I say chrome or silver. Let's say it's a silver, starting on the 2nd row of the grid. Let's hear from the Argenti by Prema teammates then. We've got, well, I don't know who we're going to hear from first. Probably Patrick Herzenroder, who's starting 2nd. And then we have a new name on the grid. It's August Raber. 2nd on the grid for this first race. You must be pleased with that?
Yeah, very happy with that result. Last minute lap, we got it on the final lap, and yeah, very happy with that result. Good turnaround. Been working on the car and it seems to have worked.
So tell me, how's that first corner going to go? Alex Ninovic ahead of you on pole position into that first corner. Are you going to come away with the lead?
100%. I think that's the only thing we could do really. It's a bit of a follow the lead around here, even with the DRS and stuff. So I think just got to get a really good start, lunge into T1 and then drive away from there.
We started the season back here at Silverstone. We're back here now. I know the results that first weekend probably weren't what you were hoping for. You're going to be doing better than that this weekend?
Definitely. I think that first weekend we were all down in the dumps and not very happy, but a really good turnaround by the team. They've been putting a lot of work and effort in over the last couple of weeks, and yeah, we've turned it around.
Of course, you got your first win in the last race in Hungary, which is a few weeks ago now. How long does that kind of moment of glory last, and you can hopefully carry it into this weekend, I'm sure?
It didn't last very long because we were off literally the next day to go testing. But now looking back on it, makes you happy, gives you that confidence coming into this round, and I think it's boosted me up definitely for that quali session.
And what do you hope to come away from this weekend from Silverstone? What points or what results?
Just be consistent, get on the podium and score good points. I'd say this championship, it's so close to the top, no one's sort of been up there the whole time. So I think, yeah, be consistent and just carry on building on it.
There is a potential of some weather around. Are you at all worried about that?
No, I love the wet around here. We've done a lot of wet testing, a lot of wet races around here, especially last year as well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
August, your first weekend at an F3 level here in the GB3 Championship. You've had some time in the car so far. How are you expecting it to go at Silverstone this weekend?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. My first time in the car was in testing on Thursday, I think. Enjoying the extra downforce. Obviously, I've raced here a lot in F4, but never stepped up and driven this car before. Just done quali. I was building up every lap. First proper session on new tires, and I think it went quite good. So yeah, really enjoying it and excited to get out to use a DRS in the races.
So compared to your racing history at F4 level, are you expecting the actual style of racing and what you're looking out for during the race to be different in F3?
I think so. I've watched a bit of the racing previously on the live streams. It looks like the dirty air is big, but obviously you do have DRS, but I think it will be different. F4 you can, I think, probably follow a bit more closely, but I think some DRS trains will appear here, especially here at Silverstone, so just need to have a good start and get it done in the first few laps if you want to move up some places. That's what I think.
How quickly can you get used to the DRS, as that's something new in the championship this year?
Yeah, it's not too complicated, but definitely an extra thing to think about when, especially on a quali lap, when to close it before braking. But yeah, I think I've gotten used to it. Just see how it is in the races, because never really used it before.
What kind of help has your teammates given you so far? Has Reza been giving you some help?
Yeah, Reza's been actually really helpful, just telling me, you know, those little things which, you know, you haven't experienced before in F4, like, you know, DRS buttons, you know, where to check your brake bias, things like that on the steering wheel. And then obviously things you have to do after the race, like go away, take the SD card out, just simple things like that, that it's great to have some teammates to help teach you that.
Yeah, all the processes as well. As a new face to our broadcast, let's find out a bit more about you. Who's your racing hero? Who made you want to be a racing driver?
I think it was Kimi Räikkönen, but I really got into it watching the 2021 Abu Dhabi in F1. I really enjoyed that race. But now my favorite F1 driver is Max Verstappen. He's really quick, aggressive. I just like his mental attitude as well.
When it comes to that 2021 Abu Dhabi race, what's your opinion on what happened?
I think that race was probably Lewis's to win, but I think throughout the whole course of the championship, Max drove better, but it's one of those ones where it's on the edge, but I think that race Lewis should have won it.
The race director was in the wrong, right?
I think so.
Well, let's hope there's no calls like that here at Silverstone this weekend. We wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll chat after a race.
Yeah, hopefully be in the top 3, but yeah, keep working towards it. Thank you so much.
Of course, that was originally Reza Seaworth, and it wasn't Pat Herzenreuder. We'll hear from Pat Herzenreuder at another time. We're looking at the car at the moment of Rodrigo Gonzalez, one of 2 Mexican brothers making their debut this weekend in the GB3 Championship. Rodrigo driving this race weekend with Chris Dittman Racing. He starts 24th on the grid with his brother Patricio starting 21st for VRD Racing. So as we look at Rodrigo's car here, let's hear from our pole sitter. It's the championship leader, Alex Ninovich. Well, that's poles 4 and 5 of the season. Double pole here at Silverstone. You must be feeling over the moon.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have double pole at Silverstone. You know, last time we were out here, we didn't have the best of luck, and we weren't super fast. But we've come back this time strong, and obviously did the job in quali to come away with double pole. I can't be happy enough.
You've clearly learned a lot since the last time we were here at Silverstone. What are those things that maybe you put into practice this time around?
Just a whole lot of everything, really. The team's been putting a lot of effort in for this round, and so have I, and learning on what we did last time, just going over everything that we made little mistakes on, and then try and fix those up, and it shows.
You obviously come into this weekend as the championship leader. You're going to want to end the weekend as the championship leader, and I guess extend that lead.
Yeah, having double pole as well gives us a good opportunity to extend the gap, and yeah, we know we have the pace to do it, so I'll be looking to execute as well as I can in the race 1 and race 2, and hopefully grow the gap.
We've got 3 race wins for you this year, all of them outside of the United Kingdom, Spa, Zandvoort and the Hungaroring. You need to get one in the UK. What are you playing at?
Yeah, hopefully this weekend we can do something, and we'll see.
A lot of people watching back home, I'm sure. I mean, they'll know Silverstone probably better than any of the tracks we race on here in the GB3 Championship this year. How many times do you think you've driven around this track virtually?
Actual laps, couple thousand it would have to be easily.
What's it like, I mean, like in reality compared to what most of us do and play a computer game?
The models these days are actually quite good, so you can actually replicate it quite well, but it's just the G-forces that you experience through Maggots, Beckett's and some other turns that you can't, and until you actually drive it and experience it, then you actually feel the car moving around, and then you get the idea of how it feels. So pretty close, but not exact.
Obviously, you can put a great lap together here at Silverstone with a double pole position. What part of the lap, if you get it wrong, really affects your times?
Mostly turn 1, our turn 1, and Maggots Beckett's is the two main areas where you can give away a lap quite easily. And then the middle sector, as long as you hook it up quite well and don't make really any mistakes, you should be fine. So it's mostly the first sector.
Well, you're giving yourself the best chance to add to those 3 race wins here this weekend. Double pole position. We'll look forward to seeing you out there.
Thank you.
Out to go onto the grid. So for the first time this weekend here at Silverstone in the GB3 Championship, let's go racing.
And so it's time to begin the second half of the season as we return to the home of British motorsport where this season began. It is of course the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit ready for action for rounds 13, 14 and 15 of the 2025 GB3 Championship partnered by the BRDC. Let's take a look around the circuit of course and all of its iconic overtaking locations. Of course that big run down to Stowe at the end of the Hangar Straight. Of course the first DRS zone on the circuit as well. The second DRS zone takes us onto the Wellington Straight down into Brooklands as well. The detection points just slightly before it as well. Of course, 2 separated detection points for this round. 18 turns, 2 DRS zones and plenty of overtakes around this 3.6 mile circuit. 25 minutes of racing ready to go ahead. Should be a fantastic one. It's myself, Lewis McGlade, Jason Pribble, of course, GB4 driver, and of course podium sitter around this circuit this year. Great to have you alongside. Should be an exciting race. Could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's going to be a great time to give my 2 cents about what it takes to get a podium around here, what it takes to race, and obviously give my comments on what the track feels like today.
Had a good drive earlier on today as well, 10th place. It was a solid drive. And I mean, what are you thinking about the circuit conditions at the moment?
Yeah, I think the track has actually ramped up quite a lot. It's a bit slower than the rounds here last time. We don't have the British GT cars here, so the rubber isn't laid down as much. The lap times are a little bit slower, but the track conditions, the balance of the car is relatively the same. So I think a lot of the drivers that raced here last round will have a good time being able to get back into the swing of things, understand where the track is, and race well here.
Slightly warmer than it was earlier on in the day, come up a couple of degrees, so 20 degrees Celsius. We were watching our GB4 coverage a bit earlier on in the day. It's about 18. Cloud coverage has cleared off as well a little bit, so we have a bit more blue skies out there. Right-hand side of your screen, that is Alex Ninovich, your championship leader, who has 233 points. Patrick Huizenrode has 199. Deegan Fairclough has 181, along with Gianmarco Prado. So they're all getting themselves into position. We do have quite a few new drivers as well for this round, so I'm sure the nerves will be quite high in some of those new drivers.
Yeah, it definitely will be. This is a track that takes a lot of confidence, and especially in a car like this. This is, although it's a long lap, it's a fast lap, and you need a lot of confidence in your car and understanding of where the car is going to end up mid-corner and things like that. So I think a lot of people will be finding their footing around here. A lot of the new drivers will, and we'll see how they feel on this formation lap.
100%. Those new drivers very quickly. It's Enzo Tarvanical returning after the first round of the championship. We've got Rodrigo Gonzalez and Patricio Gonzalez. We've got Nicolas Stati, and of course we have August Reber. Of course we do also have the return of Michael Shin as well onto the grid in the Hill Speed team. So it should be very exciting. Let's take a look at the starting grid then. It's Alex Ninovich alongside Reza Sawizan on the front row for the first time in his GB3 career. Deegan Fairclough will be starting on the front row tomorrow. However, here he has to settle for row number 2 alongside Gianmarco Prado, one of his main championship rivals. Patrick Huizenrode second in the championship, down in 5th position alongside Wanpu Shui, who switches out to Hill Speed for this round, out of the Argenti with Prema team. See how he gets along, looking pretty quick. Keanu Alazari for High-Tech TGR starts from 7th position alongside Noah Lyle. He's had a couple of struggles in qualifying, but certainly is a feisty racer to keep on top of. Will McIntyre in 9th position, with Michael Shin returning to the championship, starting from just inside the top 10. Enzo Tarvanical returning after the first round, starting from 11th alongside Abby Pulling. Looks good for the reverse grid pole later on tomorrow afternoon. Hugo Schwarzer will start from 13th position alongside Jack Sherwood. He's had some good pace around here. What can the 78 do? He showed some very good overtakes earlier on in the season. Kai Darianani, 15th position, worst qualifying of the season, alongside Flynn Jacks, the Elite Motorsports driver, down in 16th position. Yevon David is the new driver for this round, along with Lucas Flusha for the Argenti with Prema team, all starting back there on row number 9. Row 10 sees August Reber, of course, in 19th position, alongside Divi Nandan, returning as well to the championship in 20th position. 2 more rows to go. Patricio Gonzalez and Bianca Bustamante make it onto row number 11. One final row of the grid is Nicolas Stati and Rodrigo Gonzalez. So big grid, 24 cars. They're already basically completed their formation lap. They'll put themselves into position and get ready to go for what I'm sure will be a very, very exciting race. One of the XL cars unable to get going off of the grid. This could delay the start.
Yeah, it does look like it. It looked like, to me, a very fast out lap or a formation lap, and I was wondering if these cars would get their tires up to temperature, but given that there's a car sat on the grid at the moment, I don't think they're going to go on this lap. I think they'll have an extra formation lap, and we'll see from there.
I think it might have been Jack Sherwood, who I was giving some plaudits to. Obviously, he's an XL motorsport driver. The other one that could be is Pat Huizenrode, but I don't think it was that far up. Huizenrode set to start the race from 5th position. I don't feel it was that far up the grid.
No, it didn't look like it.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. They seem to have wheeled that car away and into pit lane. So it seems as though we might be good to go. It's the 44 there, and that is Yevon David. So, of course, our debutants are maybe stalled there on the grid before the formation lap.
Yeah, it's very easy to do in these cars. There's a lot of power behind them, and you don't have full throttle when you're starting usually, especially on this out lap. You don't want to spin the tires too much or else you'll overheat them in the wrong way. So it's possible. We'll see what happens here.
No, I think this is just them getting into position, don't worry. So the final few cars getting into their spots, leaving that gap as well where David's car was. So they are pretty much all in position. And we're ready to go racing. So it'll be Ninovic starting from pole position, as he will do tomorrow as well, as he did as well back in the Hungaroring. The championship leader at the front of the field. Still a yellow flag waving, though. One of the marshals maybe spotting something which doesn't look... Yeah, start delayed. You can see the start delay board on the top. So someone else had a problem on the grid, I think.
Yeah, this is a very frustrating moment. This happened in the GB4 race as well, and I can tell you it makes you very impatient right off the bat. You put a lot of effort into that warm-up lap. You make yourself very tired, and you work yourself up. You know, that's the whole idea, is to make sure you're ready and willing to fight for the first lap battles. And to have that start delay, it will do a lot to your mental stability, I think. And so we'll see how these drivers handle it.
Not sure. I think it might have been Noah Lyle. It is Noah Lyle's car that is being wheeled off there, I believe. Indeed, the number 11 of Noah Lyle. Now, like I said, you just did the GB4 race. You had a bit of a delay in that. So what's it like for the other 22 drivers that are on this grid? Kind of watch this unfold, kind of almost impatient as to what's going on.
Absolutely. It's a lot of frustration. You're just sitting there ready to get going and ready to, you know, you're ready to race. That's what you're here for. And to be sitting on the grid, waiting, the car's getting warm, you're getting warm, you start to be able to think, and you don't really want to be able to do that while sitting on the grid, right? You want to be able to have a little bit of time, or you don't want a lot of time to think. You want to just get out there and go. And so, you know, it's hard to get out there. Yeah, like you said, it's frustrating, it's impatient, and all you want to do is go racing. So you really have to kind of settle down, get yourself back into the rhythm, and just continue those thoughts that you were thinking on the formation lap and think of nothing else, really.
Yeah, and there will be another formation lap here as part of the delayed start procedure. So the 1 minute board has been held, down the 30-second board. At least I'm pretty sure they'll get another formation lap here again. I'm not sure if there's a note from race control as of yet.
Usually when they have the 1 minute and 30-second, they will do another formation lap. I've never seen that, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, it would have been wild to have jumped straight into a race start here. So yeah, they'll do another formation lap. They'll get themselves in. So what's the difference like on the second formation lap versus the first one? The first one, you're ready to go. The second one, how do you convince yourself to be ready to go again?
You know, it really is, while you're sitting there on the formation lap, you can't let yourself fall out of that rhythm. If you do let yourself fall out of that rhythm, then you do just need to focus on just getting your head down. But I think the main priority is just staying in the right mindset. This lap is going to be good, I think, particularly for the drivers on the inside line, so this even rows, because they'll have the warmer tires than just one single formation lap, and that'll allow them to utilize the dirty line a little bit more than what they could have been on the colder tires. So I think this is a bit of an advantage for the even cars now. But yeah, like you said, it's just a matter of getting yourself back into the rhythm, working that steering wheel, getting yourself, you know, pumped and ready to go again.
Yeah, those that will be starting on the left-hand side when they're on the start-finish straight. You're absolutely right. One thing I am noticing, much like the initial formation lap here, they are not hanging around. They are firing around the circuit as fast as they can, just to, I guess, build as much temperature as possible.
Yeah, you know, it does depend, because at the end of the day, you're power braking, which is a form of warming up your tires where you turn and brake at the same time. That allows you to heat the tire from the inside of the tire using the brakes. And usually we do that in the GB4 cars. I know they do that in the GB3 cars as well. And that, you know, you're going slower on the straightaway because you're slamming the brakes. It doesn't really look like they're doing that here. It does just look like Alex Ninovic wants to get onto the grid.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, I guess it's also one of those ones when you've had your formation up and you've already had that mental thing, like you said, as a racing driver, you want to just get on with it. So I guess going as fast as you can to get around the circuit, get into position. Also, I guess if you're better on colder tyres than some other drivers, maybe you also want to kind of get around as quick as possible so that they're all on, as they've not had that window to warm up their tyres.
Absolutely, yeah. And the other thing I'm noticing too is because we've had such a fast formation lap and such a fast, even just fourth sector in general, not many people have been stopping and spinning their tires on the way to the grid. Definitely not Ninovic, definitely not Reza as well. So I think we'll see whether or not they're able to handle that initial bite off the line.
Indeed. Well, they will now get themselves into position. They will now get themselves ready to go in what will be, I'm sure, a slightly reduced race length. Normally it's 25 minutes. It'll be probably down to 23 as the additional formation lap will take a lap off of the race distance. They'll get themselves into position. And again, it's about, I mean, how aggressive would you want to be on this race start? Because obviously there's a few cars here that now have open gaps ahead of them.
Yeah, I think they're going to be sitting quite comfortable. Having a car not in front of you gives you a lot of room to play around with. You don't have to worry about what the car in front of you is going to be doing, and you can focus on having that open gap, having a little bit of open air as well. These cars are going to be washed, they're going to get a lot of air wash on the front wing, especially through this first corner with so many cars going through it.
Those that have the clear run ahead, it's Michael Shin, because of course Noah Lyle returning to the pit lane. Is also a little bit further back. You have August Raber also with clear air ahead. Right hand side of your screen then on the pole position, that's Alex Ninovic in the black and white Rodin car. It is the dark, the white, black and blue of Reza Sawuthan, the Argenti with Prema. We'll get ourselves ready to go racing for the first race here of the weekend. We are racing at the home of British Motorsport with Alex Ninovic leading from pole position, but can he hold on to that lead into the first corner? The answer to the question is yes. Gianmarco Prado has also been able to get his way past Deegan Fairclough. So a switch for third and fourth as they work their way through the opening corner. Now down into Maggots, Beckers and Chapel. Great race start though from our pole sitter Alex Ninovic, but Reza Sawuthan is right under the rear end, skipping over that Flynn Jacks in the Elite Motorsports car. So he rejoined the circuit, but already some side-by-side. Look at this. That was the 33 of Hugo Schwarzer going side by side with Jack Sherwood, and there's more with Enzo Tarvanical as well.
Yeah, it is not easy to be going side by side. Oh my gosh, and into the grass there. I did that earlier. It's not easy to be going side by side through Maggots and Beckett's, and these drivers are doing a great job of making it through there, relatively cleanly.
Super exciting stuff. Keanu Alazari in that bright pink BWT car trying to make a move on Pat Huizenroda in the XL Motorsport white, blue and pink car going for the up and under, being joined in that fight as well, I believe, by Michael Shin. I think also that would be Wampu Shui, who's dropped back a little bit on the race start. Keanu Alazari once again going on the attack. You cannot miss the Alpine Academy driver, that bright pink. It is so distinctive around here, and a big lock-up coming in from Pat Huizenroda.
Yeah, that's going to give a good run onto the back straightaway here. We'll see if he can make something of it. Doesn't look like it, but yeah, just the leaders starting to parse away from everyone else.
Yeah, fastest first sector of the race will obviously go the way of Alex Ninovic. Fastest second sector will go the way of Ninovic also. So just starting to build the gap for the race lead. Pat Huizenroda trying to fend off the likes behind you. Marco Prado trying to work his way up the order. Out wide goes the number 24 of Shin. Bit of contact as well with the 37 of Will McIntyre. Shin goes out wide. He might lose out to his teammate Wampu Shui here. He might also lose out to Enzo Tarvanical, who drives into the rear end of Wampu Shui on the start-finish straight, and there is damage on the front end of his car. What a costly mistake.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that, but they got lucky to avoid any bigger incident there. Definitely going wide through cops is unsurprising.
Where is Abby Pulling come from, always? Because she's now right into the mix. So fantastic race start from Pulling, who's now working her way up the order. This is a bit further up, and the fight for between Sawuthan, of course, in the number 10 car, the fight for second position. Sawuthan versus Prado versus Fairclough as well in the Rocket-sponsored high-tech TGR car. You've got Pat Huizenroda not too far off the rear end of this. Those clearing away from those in the background after that dramatic moment. Now we go back to Enzo Tarvanical with Abby Pulling going around the outside, inside line as they go the way on the exit of club. But of course, superior grip going the way of that Red Bull-sponsored car. DRS open, already to be enabled, of course, on the Hanger Straight and the Wellington Straight. Going to be critical, especially here for Pulling.
Yeah, it looks like she made it through all right, but I don't think that that's going to have a big effect on the downforce of the car, but I think the straight line of that Red Bull livery that Red Bull livery car is going to start to suffer, especially down the Wellington Straight. So we'll see if Alex Pilling can make a move up there.
That was Michael Shin who had that big lock up there in the 24 hill speed car. I mean, what will a lock up like that do this early in a 12-lap race?
Well, especially when you're fighting this close with other cars, you're going to want to continue to keep pushing these tires in these battles. Oh dear.
Oh my goodness, that was a big send from the XL Motorsports car. That was Jack Sherwood, who back in GB4 was one of the best overtakers on the grid, showing it once again. That was a bold move on Michael Shin, straight around the outside. Hugo Schwarzer comes. That was opportunistic from the German.
It was opportunistic, but he made it work. I saw a lap before I think 2 of the 3 hill speed cars went 3 wide into Brooklands, and they made it through. So I think he took some notes from that and made it 2 wide, but just a big move there. Beautiful job.
Sherwood going again for a move. That was such a big send on Lucas Flusha for 12th position, and they're going to go 3 wide into Magnus Beckers and Chapel. Hugo Schwarzer backs out of it, still side by side. You've got the number 3 there, the silver, blue and black car there of Flusha. Fantastic move from the 78 of Jack Sherwood. I told you he was good at overtakes. That proved it right there. So bold to go side by side through Magnus Beckers and Chapel.
Yeah, he is not afraid to go wheel to wheel with anyone out here. This is some really impressive racing here. It's not easy to pass, but he is making it work.
What are we seeing you out on this grid? My goodness, Jason, I mean, look, they're leaving nothing on the table here. Back to the fight for second position. We've got Reza Suethan, we've got Gianmarco Pradel, we've got Deegan Fairclough as well, and a bit of a gap back to Pat Huizenroda. Of course, the more they fight, the more they bring that group in behind. So I think timing is everything here.
Yeah, it seems the front few have calmed down and understood that once you start to battle, you're going to let other people in, and you don't want to do that this early in the race. It's a little bit unsurprising to see Alex Ninovic run away with this so fast, not just because he was the top qualifier, but because the clean air around here, of all places, is going to be one of the most important on the calendar, I would say. And so to have that clean air on the front wing has allowed him to just be so much faster, and Reza Siwerthan has had to defend from the cars behind, and that's slowed him down just a little bit.
I mean, he's a force to be reckoned with at present in the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC as Alex Ninovic, and he's showing it once again here as the fighting is only happening behind him. We complete the 3rd lap of the race. We'll get the update from race control that we have had the race distance reduced by 1 lap, so it's 11 laps of racing, not 12, of course, courtesy of the 2nd formation lap. So 7 left to go. That means another one less opportunity for you as a driver. Obviously all the drivers will have been well aware of that when they did the 2nd formation lap, but what does that do to your mindset earlier on in the race, knowing that you have 1 lap less to go on the attack?
Well, I think we just saw it, because these first few laps have been quite eventful, and that's just it. You have to make the most of every opportunity you can get. I think not many people out here are going to be complaining too much about the race distance being shortened, because once we get to this stage in the race, as we see Siwerthan defending hard into Vale here.
Yeah, Pradel's going on the attack, big send to the inside. This could open up the opportunity for Fairclough if he reads it brilliantly. Around the outside of Suethan he goes, around the outside of Pradel he goes. This is Deegan Fairclough in the number 7 high-tech TGR car, going all the way around the outside. So brave to make the move in that rocket-sponsored high-tech TGR car. Into Abbey they go with Pradel on the inside. They remain side by side, and it could be back open again for Siwerthan. What is going to happen between these two as they head their way down into Village and Loop? Pradel finally works his way back through. With this fighting, he's dragging in Huizenroda, he's dragging in Alizari. Big move to the inside coming in. Once more from Fairclough, but it's not going to work.
A little bit of a dink on the wing for Fairclough. I wonder if there's going to be any damage there. But Siwerthan back on the rear wing of Fairclough, getting a little bit of a run, but Prado making a defensive line here. And
sometimes I don't like it, and there we go. Front wing has been lost from Reza Suethan. Those two were teammates last year in British Formula 4, and now they come together here. So into the pit lane comes Reza Suethan, or he's going to try and stay out for a little bit. He will get told by race control. I'm sure he's got to return to pit lane. The question now is, does Deegan Fairclough have any slow punctures or something on his car? Normally with that kind of contact, it would be a very quick puncture, but you never know, as we'll see once again the battle between the Elite Motorsports car, the black and yellow of Will McIntyre, the white, blue and pink of Pat Huizenroda, as they go down into Magnus Beckers and Chapel side by side once again. Huizenroda saying absolutely not, are you coming through there, as there is a puncture for the 35 of Patricio Gonzalez.
Yeah, I do wonder where that came from, but there's so many opportunities. It could have been from the wing, it could have been from any sort of debris. As we see another battle, hard blocking on the back straight there.
Enzo Tarvanical trying to keep Abby Pulling at bay. Pulling will look to the outside going into Stowe. Will McIntyre has got through now using DRS on Pat Huizenrode. So does take over 6th position. The order at the moment is Ninovic, it's Pradell, it's Fairclough, it's Alazari, Pat Huizenrode, Will McIntyre. Those two are switched around, so it'll be McIntyre's actually will be 5th position, courtesy, of course, of Siwuthan's front wing loss. And once again, Enzo Tarvanical is able to keep the Rodin of Abby Pulling at bay. That's what we're looking at here. Enzo Tarvanical with that nose damage. That's not really going to be causing any major loss of downforce, is it?
You know, definitely not downforce. I would have expected a little bit of straight line speed loss, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him. He's been holding Abby Pulling off for the past 3 laps now, and it seems to be doing perfectly fine. So he's holding that well. He's managing that damage quite well.
Got Kai Darianani as well as the 3rd car in that. Right, talk me through this. What's happening here?
I mean, I think just a little bit too hot. You can see that lock up in the front left. I mean, that's so easy to do into Brooklands, and unfortunate for him because at this point he has no way of knowing whether or not that wing is gone, and especially through Luffield, that's not high enough downforce where you might even notice that it's gone. So unfortunately for him, he's staying out another lap, and because of that, he's going to lose that much more. I mean, unfortunately, with a wing losing, your race is just about over, but it just sends you that much further back.
And that incident will be noted by race control between the 7 and the 10. Obviously, one thing to note from that, obviously it shows that these Pirelli tyres that we've got the sidewalls on are pretty strong. The fact that Deegan Fairclough is once again going on the attack for 2nd position.
Yeah, I mean, these tires are large. You know, as you can see, the sidewalls are huge, but they've been holding up really, really well with these cars. It's you know, lots of little bits of contact here and there, and I'm sure even the front nose there hit a tire at one point, but it doesn't seem like anyone's, you know, had any issues from that.
Kai Darianani straight to the outside of Abby Pulling. That looked like a pretty easy move. Bit of DRS assistance and some bravery to go around the outside at Stowe. But that is Kai Darianani up to 9th position as some of those fall by the wayside. These lot are picking up the pieces and moving comfortably inside the top 10. Flusha knocking at the door of Abby Pulling as well, who was feeling a lot more confident coming into this weekend after a few weekends of struggle for her in the road team, but she's looking strong. She obviously was strong when we came racing around here earlier on in the year, and I mean, back end of the top 10, I know that's not where she would be aiming for, but still pretty decent.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I do worry that at this stage in the race, it just looks like after she's gotten past that maybe she worked those front tires a little bit too hard following so close to the car in front. It really does do a number on these, and there's not much you can do to recover them. Oh, another battle here.
These two are teammates as well. The high-tech TGR car, that bright pink on the inside, the BWT sponsored one of Keanu Alazari. Now about to move through into 3rd position. Deegan Fairclough getting dropped back into 4th. I mean, look, they're teammates, but teammates don't really matter in this. I mean, I know you've not got a teammate in GB4, but still.
It really doesn't look like it, I'll tell you that much. I mean, to be maintaining that on the outside, being so close to the rear wing, and just right under that crash box, it's impressive how close they're racing together. And I mean, they're not giving each other an inch, but they're not overstepping at all. This is great racing in general, and certainly very respectful but assertive racing between teammates.
Well, we've seen earlier on in this race how hard it can be to judge where the exact front of this car is, because the nose of this car does go on quite far as it drops down right to the edge of that nose, and obviously with Tarvanical earlier on making a little bit of contact. There's Reza Siwuthan into the pit lane. As much as a front wing, I think they might be calling the race there. No chance of getting any points, so why waste the tyres?
Yeah, I think for race 2, I'm not entirely sure where he's starting, but he has another opportunity to make this work. And I think sit back, think about what went wrong, what went right, and go from there. So P7 is a little bit further back, but again, you can still do plenty from there. Obviously, we've seen people making moves. It doesn't seem to be an issue, especially with the help of that DRS system. There's plenty to be had.
Yeah. And I think with that switch for the high-tech TGR drivers that were running in 3rd and 4th, Keanu Alazari up into 3rd position, Deegan Fairclough down to 4th, Alazari trying to get onto the rear end of Gianmarco Pradell, the Rodin Motorsport team that are so strong in this race. Ninovic running away. It's a 1-2 at the moment for Rodin. They are looking strong once again. Ninovic, the dominant force in this championship. Pradell, a little bit of a slide there going through Brooklands.
Yeah, I think this is starting to see the crossover now between setup choices and tire pressure choices between different teams. A lot of cars have been really strong right off the bat, right off the start, and you see people like Keanu Al-Azari who are making a lot of moves later in this race, and I'm beginning to think that he's got his car set up more for later race, later part of this, and he's making the moves. So I'd keep an eye on him, see if he can get past Pradell and maybe ruin Rodin's 1-2 at the moment.
Basically anything to take some points off of them at the moment, obviously, which will help in the teams championship, but also help Keanu Azari in the drivers as well. Has got 3 podiums thus far in the season. Currently sits down in 7th position in the championship. He's got 161 points, so 72 off of the championship lead, but obviously maybe that's not necessarily the goal. But going after some of those higher positions, as much as he's 72 off the championship lead, he's only 30 or so off of 2nd in the championship, and getting something like that leading GB3, like, it's still a big result, and obviously, we've still got half the season to go.
Yeah, it's a big jump, and any position matters at any point in the season at this stage. I think for Keanu Al-Azari, this is exactly what you need to be doing at this stage in the season. Halfway through the year, not that far off the championship lead, not that far off of 2nd. These are the types of moves that you need to be making, and I think he's doing a great job in terms of what he's thinking during this race, and it's looking good for him right now.
Yeah, Jean-Marco Pradell, 181 points to his name, joint with Deegan Fairclough, so at the moment he'll take a clear hold of 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. Keanu Al-Azari will jump. I think he will definitely jump Noah Lyle. He's not in this race. I think he might jump Will McIntyre and may end up in the top 5 after this race, but that's maybe getting a little too far ahead of ourselves, because we've still got 3 laps of this brutal Silverstone circuit to deal with. Al-Azari going out wide there, but surely that's to straighten the exit and give a good run going out onto the start-finish straight, maybe planning an immediate move going down the hanger straight, because of course around here you really do have to plan your move a few corners in advance.
Absolutely. You need to start, especially through Maggots and Beckett's and things like that. It begins with Maggots. It begins with that first right-hand turn, picking where you turn in, and then also timing off of Luffield, timing off of Copse to make sure you're not too close or too far away from the car in front of you to make that move happen. Obviously, with the DRS, he'll be able to get a good run out of Chapel, but it is just a matter of whether or not he can get on power early enough and get through and carry that speed. It's looking good right now.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a slide from the pair of them as they were getting ready to go through Chapel. You can see there the small sliver of the rear wing as the DRS has been opened for Keanu Al-Azari. Close enough to get to the outside, not close enough to complete the move though. But he'll still have another couple of opportunities left to go at that one. Maybe he wants something a little bit earlier. Looks to the outside once more and Pradell, but Al-Azari will settle in that bright pink BWT car for 3rd position at present. Deegan Fairclough looming large in the background, ready to pounce on any mistake.
Yeah, this is where you start to see, this is the first time we've seen Pradell start to block this heavy, and I think he's starting to feel the pressure, and this is where it's going to start to matter. These last 2 laps now are going to be very intense.
But defending that hard, of course, that kind of level of blocking, of course, you're going off of the racing line onto the less grippy part. You're increasing your chances of locking up, of sliding out, going around the corners. It's a very risky game either side, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all down to, risk versus reward and just optimization. It's just about racing. Obviously, these drivers have spent a couple days in practice racing each other as well, so they know where grip here, is and isn't. Of course, without the British GT cars, we don't have as many marbles off on the racing line. So the track is relatively clean, and at least in the GB4 race, we noticed that offline wasn't actually all that bad in comparison to where we were. But I still do think that blocking this hard, especially into a corner like Vale, where there's really no other opportunity but to be on the inside, he's doing a great job of maintaining that lead in front of him.
How quick into the race do you work out what the grip's like offline? And how do you do that? If you're trying to stay on the racing line all the time, do you find that out on the first lap? At what point during the race did these drivers kind of figure that out?
Well, it's all about, making sure that you're not losing positions. So what we're doing is we're doing that on the formation lap, because that's where you need to feel it, and that's where you can't really lose positions unless you're really messing up. So a lot of the times, especially when you see like oil slick or a little bit of water and marbles and things like that, you are going offline, getting a feel for where the grip is and where that thing is, because if you make that big of a mistake and end up losing 1 or 2 positions in the race, you might not be able to recover that, and you've just learned for everyone else. You don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, you kind of got to be a very fast learner and eyes open, watching what everyone else is doing and where they're losing grip. There's your race leader, 5.2 seconds clear. So fast, couldn't even keep a camera, and that's how quick he's going around this Silverstone circuit. Pradel, then Alazari, then Fairclough, then Will McIntyre, who is closing in on this group. He is sitting there right with them. Again, same as with Fairclough, ready to pounce. The problem is you've obviously got all of that dirty air to deal with.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a tricky situation because, yes, you do have to deal with all that dirty air, but I would say one of the easiest ways to make a pass is passing a car that is behind another one, because they're experiencing the dirty air. They're going to be having to pull out of line to avoid that dirty air. You can stay on the correct line, get a little bit more grip, and maybe you can catch them on a mistake.
Well, here we go then, on to the final lap of the race. Ninovic running away with things at the moment, so in control, so calm, so collected on this beautiful Saturday here at Silverstone. Conditions tomorrow might not be quite as clear, so you've got to take advantage of this opportunity now. If you're feeling good in the dry, get on after it, and that is what Ninovic is doing. Any other moves coming in the background? Flusha keeping Abby pulling at bay for the final position inside the top 10. There is pulling in that black, white and pink Rodin. Now or never, basically.
Yeah, especially. I mean, this has been an absolutely perfect race for Alex Ninovic. We're still watching that battle for second place right now. It's going to be heating up, especially on this last lap. And that battle for 10th place, the top 10 there, looks to be heating up as well. It's going to get more intense just throughout this lap.
Yeah, of course, unlike in Formula 1, we do have points outside of the top 10 as well as inside of it, but still putting a top 10 on the board in the first race around Silverstone the weekend, I think it's still important, even just as a mental victory, as Abby Pulling takes a look but couldn't quite do it.
Yeah, absolutely. A top 10 means the world in comparison to 11th. You'd never want to be missing out on that top 10. There's something about it. So they're going to be fighting quite hard for this as long as they know where they are.
Indeed. Not many corners left to go. They enter the final sector. Comfortably clear of this, though, is Abby Pulling's teammate, Alex Ninovic. With just a few corners left to go, is ready to properly take control. We look at the battle, though, for second position. At the moment, it is a Rodin 1-2. It is Ninovic and Pradel. It is Alazari behind, then Fairclough, then McIntyre. And a big gap back to Pat Huizenrode, and a bigger gap back to Wampu Shui, a big gap back to Enzo Tarvanical, but the gaps are none bigger than here at the front of the field. Alex Ninovic comes through the final corner. And for the first time this season, he's going to win at Silverstone, but for the fourth time this season, he is going to take a victory here in the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. Absolutely dominant as we wait 5 seconds to see his teammate Gianmarco Prado across the line. Alazari into third, onto the podium once again. We'll be talking about that all afternoon long. What a performance it was there from Ninovic. The battling's not done though. Plenty behind to deal with. The 44 there of Yevon David on debut, trying to keep Flynn Jackson at bay. And across the line will just about do it. Superb racing though.
Absolutely, that was very clean. Ninovic showing why he's a championship leader, extending that lead even further. But really, really clean racing. Really impressive by all these drivers to, be going 3 wide through Maggots and Beckett's at points is not something I would do in a GB4 car, but they seem to manage it quite well in the GB3. So some ideas for tomorrow.
I was going to say, yeah, you watched any of that? You picked on anything that you maybe need to be applying tomorrow to get a Ninovic performance out?
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
I mean, look, we'll have to wait and see. It's such a good performance there from Alex Ninovic. Let's take a look at the provisional race results then for the first race of this GB3 Championship weekend at Silverstone. Ninovic, then Pradel, then Alazari, the top 3 that we'll be catching up with in a few moments' time with Jon Jackson. Deegan Fairclough in 4th position with Will McIntyre there in 5th. Then Huizenrode, Shui, Tarvanical on return into 8th position. Very good for the Red Bull-backed VRD driver. Tarianani and Flusha, the final position inside the top 10. Shin got past Abby Pulling, so up now into 11th position on his return to the championship. Raber in 13th position with Schwarzer, a disappointing race down in 14th. Bianca Bustamante in 15th. Jack Sherwood put on some absolutely unbelievable moves into 16th position with David keeping Jacks at bay. Nandon, and then the first of the Gonzalez, that's Rodrigo Gonzalez. Then we had Stati, then is Sawuthan, obviously with the front wing basically retiring from the race. Patricio Gonzalez as well retiring, and Noah Lyle not even making it to the race start. Superb performance. They'll work their way back in. What do you think the mental position is like for these drivers after winning a race for Ninovic? It's the fourth one of the season. You know, we've only had 13 races, but he's won 4 of them, and he's got to be on cloud 9.
Oh yeah, I mean this is just going to be piling and piling up on his confidence. I mean he's going to be going into race 2 now. Whether, you know, we'll see how the weather is tomorrow, but he'll be going into race 2 tomorrow feeling amazing. He will go into that race knowing he can win it, and he's just proved it now. So he's feeling very confident. This is a great time for him. He is in the perfect position. I think a lot of drivers here have learned a little bit about where they stand in terms of timing of the racing, and I think a lot of that will be applied tomorrow, but they seem to be very capable of getting side to side and battling and finding gaps where they I didn't see it with the camera on the outside of the car, so they've managed quite well. This is going to be a good weekend.
A whopping 52-point lead Alex Ninovic will have over Pat Huizenrode. Jean-Marc Prado, 3rd position in the championship, as we said, getting ahead there of Deegan Fairclough and all that. Keanu Alazari does move up to 5th in the championship. So a lot to talk about between this top 3, but of course the celebrations there between them and the team. I'm sure we'll see you back on the podium, maybe. You were here earlier in the year, so you know, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I know how to do it, so let's do it again. Starting one better than last time I was here, so we'll get it together.
Exactly. Yeah. Take that W. No worries. Of course, they'll all calm themselves down. I mean, look, heart rates have gone from being through the roof. Now they can breathe calmly, but instantly, does the debrief start?
Yeah, I mean, obviously these cars have to go through Parc Fermé. They get to celebrate a little bit, and it's going to be about an hour before they go out, but yeah, they can calm down a little bit.
Well, superb stuff. We'll catch up then with the top 3. Let's head down to Jon Jackson. You got this, champ.
Yeah, Alex Ninovic, a 4th win of the season, deep in conversation with one of the team members at Rodin here. Great result for Rodin, a 1-2. Gonna grab a word with Alex Ninovic now. I got to jump in. I'm sorry. 4th win of the season. Talk me through that race for you.
Yeah, really, really excited. Yeah, really good race. Starting from pole, got a good start, which was the aim because the last couple haven't been that good. And then from there, I managed to extend the gap to, I think, Reza by a second, so he couldn't get DRS. And then from there, I just pushed on a little bit and managed to pull a big gap. So yeah, really happy with everyone, and the car felt really good. So I can't thank Rodin enough for that.
You managed it incredibly well, and you've got another opportunity to do it tomorrow as well.
Yeah, definitely. Starting from pole in race 2, hopefully we can do the same thing.
No concerns about the weather?
We'll see what happens. I think it could be dry, but there's also a chance that it could be wet. So yeah, we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, great result for you, also great result for the team.
Yeah, definitely. To get the 1-2 is also good for the team's championship. So yeah, good day today.
All looking good. We'll let you go and celebrate with the rest of the Rodin team.
Thank you.
There we go. Let's find our 2nd place driver. Jean-Marc Prado. Oh, hey, there we go. Yeah, talk me through that then. Tell me now how you made it to 2nd place from 4th.
Yeah, well, got Fairclough off the start, which was pretty good. And then after that, it was just about hacking in the dirty air. Was able to get past Reza into Vale, so that was really good as well. Apart from that, it was mostly about keeping the others behind. It was a bit difficult without DRS, but I returned in the end. So yeah. Pretty happy with that, especially after the place that we had in the practice. So yeah, was able to make a step, and hopefully we can carry this into race 2 and race 3.
Yeah, great way to start the weekend for you. Where are you starting in race 2?
12th. I prefer not to speak about that, but
but look, you've seen what you can do from 4th.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, jokes aside, it's should be good in race 2. Hopefully we can get through the fields, try to get some more really good points. Yeah, but it's going to be fun, I reckon, tomorrow morning.
Yeah, Well, great weekend so far for Rodin, great weekend for the Aussies too.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, 1-2 for Rodin. Team's done an amazing job, and yeah, to have both of us up here, it's fantastic. It's good to see.
Yeah, first you beat the Lions down under, and now you're beating the Brits here. So well done.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
There we go, Jan-Marco Pradel. Let's go and speak to Keanu Alazari. I think it's possibly his 4th podium, maybe 5th of the year. Keanu, I think this is your 4th. Is it your 4th or your 5th podium? I think it's your 4th podium of the season so far.
Unofficially my 4th, officially my 3rd. Hold on.
No, I think it's 4th.
Officially my 4th, unofficially my 5th. Yeah,
that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
But a great drive from you to make it from 7th all the way up onto the podium.
Yeah, I mean, I was really enjoying myself in that race, and yeah, the car came together very well, starting to pick up the pace properly and come through the field. Some close moments, but lovely battles, and yeah, very happy to take home another podium.
Yeah, we saw you ducking and diving there. Was there any particularly scary moments out there?
Yeah, when everyone sort of swarmed around in the midpoint of the race, but yeah, we definitely came away lucky from that one. I placed the car in the right position and gained a couple of spots in one lap, and then from then we moved forward once again and onto the podium.
Excellent stuff. Well, we'll let you get onto that podium right now. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
There we go. Keanu Alazari in 3rd place. Great drive from Keanu, and we'll watch them get their trophies now on the podium, and Lewis McGlade will talk you through it.
Cheers, Jonas, and yeah, again, great to hear, and such a solid position that's been built in this championship by Alex Ninovic, and again, pulling himself clear. Keanu Alazari, again, he did say there, unofficial versus official. Of course, he did have one of those podiums stripped away from him, but it is his 4th podium. But he's starting to come along strong here. He had 2 podiums back in the Hungaroring, had a podium in the final race at Zandvoort as well, and of course a podium to open up here at Silverstone. It means that he's finished in the top 10 in 4 consecutive races, and of those 4, he has had a podium in 3 of them. The other driver to have done that is Jan-Marco Pradel. So again, seeming to nail things at the moment is Keanu Alazari, and you kind of wonder what is possible for him. He'll be starting from 3rd position as well tomorrow, so he's got onto the podium from 7th place today, but he's going from 4 positions better tomorrow. The only problem really for him, front row of the grid, sees Deegan Fairclough in 2nd spot, and he'll be very feisty, but of course those two did battle out a fair amount in this race. Alex Ninovic will be starting from a 3rd consecutive pole position, a 5th pole position of the season, looking to translate it to a 5th victory as well. We'll welcome out onto the podium then Keanu Alazari, who has put on a very good display in that race to go from 7th up to 3rd, but it is a 1-2 for the Rodin team. Jan-Marco Pradel, Alex Ninovic will take to the top step, and again, superb. Ninovic looking so strong. Finished runner-up in British Formula 4 last year to Deegan Fairclough, and is the dominant force of GB3 in 2025. Richard Radel, the Chief Communications Officer of FMSV, here in the GB3 Championship, GB4 Championship, will be handing out those trophies, and of course, celebrations, fair enough, but they know that there's so much more left to do. But importantly, the second half of the season has begun, and it has begun in the way that basically we expected it. It is Ninovic winning again. Let's go to highlights though of the race. Highlights from round 13 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDT. Racing down to the first corner with Ninovic leading. It was already a switch though for 3rd position, as Jan-Marco Pradel was able to work his way past on Deegan Fairclough. Flynn Jackson will go over the inside, going through the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel before rejoining a fair amount further down the order. Michael Shin going side by side with Will McIntyre, squeezed out wide, allowed his teammate Wampu Shui to go through, and Enzo Tarbanical, who would hit the rear end of Shui, causing a bit of nose damage as well. Bit of a lock up as well, coming in from the hill speed driver is Shin, as he was trying to slow the car down. Side by side in the battle for what was 2nd position in the race, Pradel was making a move on Reza Samutham, who was then having a door opened wide for the number 7 of Deegan Fairclough, who would go around the outside of 1 and 2 straight up into second position, leaving it side by side with Gianmarco Pradel, and then back into the fight by the time they got into Brooklands. Unfortunately, a bit of a costly error coming in from Reza Sawuthan, tapping the rear end. Fortunately, not giving any suspension damage or any tyre punctures to Deegan Fairclough. There would be one, though, for the number 35 of Patricio Gonzalez. Of course, Reza Sawuthan will be into the pit lane. The battle, though, between Keanu Alizari and Deegan Fairclough would see this fight for third position between the two high-tech TGR cars. Out through the final corner to begin 3 laps left to go, and it was Keanu Alizari working his way through into third position. Unfortunately, Deegan Fairclough was having to settle for 4th. The fight for the podium, though, was seeing second and third go side by side, but unfortunately, it wouldn't really happen. Alex Ninovic, though, was well clear as he would come through the final corner to take a dominant victory here at Silverstone. It was a 1-2 as well for the Rodin team, but the championship leader looking extremely strong.
Alex Ninovic has just absolutely pegged it up the pit lane with his bottle of champagne, going to go and celebrate with the rest of the Rodin team. So an incredible result for them with Gianmarco Pradel coming second. Rodin dominating GB3 so far this weekend, but of course all can change when we come back tomorrow. You can watch the highlights set in a short while on the GB3 social media channels. Of course, check out the full race report shortly on the GB3 website as well. And we've got 2 more races coming up tomorrow, and Alex Ninovic will start on pole position for the first of those 2 before our reverse grid race. If you want to watch the first race, it's very simple. Make sure you're back exactly where you're watching right now at 10:10 tomorrow. And of course, we'll also have 2 races in the GB4 Championship as well. So GB3 back here 10:10 tomorrow morning for more action here at Silverstone.